This is question number 2A from GS paper 4 of mains 2022 examination. The question is, the rules and regulations provided to all the civil servants are same, yet there is difference in their performance. Positive minded officers are able to interpret the rules and regulations in favor of the case and achieve success, whereas the negative minded officers are unable to achieve goals by interpreting the same rules and regulations against the case. Discuss with illustrations. See, the basic idea of the question is that the attitude or mindset of civil servants can have significant impact on their performance. Uh, the positive minded officers are more likely to interpret rules and regulations in a way that helps them to achieve their goals, while the negative minded officers are more likely to interpret the same rules and regulations as a tool to block the progress of the work, and therefore they cannot achieve their goals. We have to elaborate the given assumption given in the question with the help of examples. Now let's see the answer. See, first of all, what is the goal of civil servants? The ultimate goal of civil servants is to serve the public by implementing government welfare programs, policies, enforcing law and order as per various rules and regulations. A positive minded civil servant sees rules and regulations as a way to help the people. Such officers are more creative and flexible in their approach, whereas negative minded civil servants are rigid and inflexible. Now let's see some examples. A positive-minded civil servant always think about to help poor and weaker section. Now let's see the example. Roadside encroachments by poor and vegetable and fruit vendors is a common issue in cities. A positive-minded civil servant will give them time to remove encroachments or provide separate authorized place to these vendors for which a very small amount of fee may be charged from them. On the other hand, a negative minded civil servant will, without warning, order to destroy these shops and seize all the goods of these shops and impose heavy fine on these poor people. Both the civil servants have used the same rule and regulation book, but the outcome is positive in the first case. Now let's take another example. A positive minded civil servant thinks about the impact of his decision on the different sections of the society. Suppose, as per rule, a civil servant is authorized to decide parking fee in the DC office. A negative minded civil servant, in order to collect more revenue, will decide heavy parking fee, whereas a positive minded civil servant will allow a fee which even poor persons can also afford. Now let's see another example. The positive minded civil servants make sure that every deserving person gets benefit of government welfare programs. See, every government welfare program for vulnerable section have some eligibility criteria. A negative minded civil servant will interpret the eligibility rules in a narrow sense, which will limit the access of vulnerable group to this welfare program. On the other hand, a positive minded civil servant will interpret the eligibility rules in such a way that everyone from vulnerable section gets the benefit of the welfare program. A positive minded civil servant focus on the positive outcome. Therefore, although all the civil servants work according to same rules and regulations, but the positive minded civil servants interpret these rules and regulations for achieving their ultimate goal, whereas the negative minded civil servants fail to do so. Thank you.